Hey everyone, welcome back to Mediocrity Gaming. Luke here with another Conan Exiles guide. Today, we're talking about combat. It's one of the most important parts of survival, and one that a lot of players still struggle to master. Between attributes, armor, weapons, and your thralls, there's a lot that goes into fighting smart instead of just swinging wildly. So let's break it all down and help you start winning more fights, whether you're battling creatures, NPCs, or other players. Now before we get into stats and gear, we need to understand how to fight smarter, and reduce the times you eat dirt. And yes, you will die. A lot. But mastering the basics of combat will make it happen a lot less. Every fight in Conan Exiles comes down to a few key things: timing, stamina management, and knowing your weapon. You can't just mash buttons and hope for the best. Every swing, dodge, and block costs stamina, and once you're out, you're wide open. So, learn to read your enemy's attacks, stay mobile, and don't be afraid to disengage when things get rough. The players who survive the longest aren't the ones who hit the hardest, they're the ones who fight the smartest. And that all starts with stamina management, a skill learned through experience and less from watching. Every action drains it, and running out leaves you completely exposed. The trick is to attack in short bursts, keep an eye on your bar, and always leave enough stamina to dodge, block, or sprint if things turn south. Pacing your swings and knowing when to hold back can make the difference between walking away or waiting for respawn. Let's talk attributes, the stats that define how you fight and survive in Conan Exiles. First up, we have Strength. Strength increases the damage of weapons like greatswords, hammers, and axes, so basically your brute force weapons, and it also increases your carrying capacity. Next, we have Agility. Now, Agility boosts the damage of lighter, faster weapons like daggers, bows, and short swords, rewarding mobility and precision. Now, you'll know if a weapon is a Strength or Agility weapon by inspecting the weapon's stats. It'll say in the top left corner. And next, we have Vitality. Vitality increases your overall health and survivability. It's the difference between death and walking away from a fight close to death. And here we have Authority. Now, Authority affects your followers. It gives you more knockout power with truncheons, and it increases thrall damage. It can also give you the ability to have 2 followers depending on which attribute perk you select. And here we have Grit. Grit improves your stamina, letting you swing, dodge, and block more before running out of energy, and it also increases your armor rating. And finally, we have Expertise. Expertise increases your carrying capacity, and some of the perks help with harvesting and building. Together, these attributes define your playstyle, whether you're built for raw power, agility and finesse, or commanding your own mini army of thralls. Now let's talk weapons. We're going to start with strength weapons. First off, we have long swords, you have great axes, war axes, or battle axes, great swords, maces, hammers, and spears. Now, if brute strength is more your style, these are the weapons for you. And here we have agility weapons. You have your daggers, short swords, and hand blades or claws. Basically, your stick and move weapons. And let's take a look at some of the ranged weapons, starting with the common bow. Next up, the javelin. We have the Xena Warrior Princess Chakram, and also the throwing axe. Now, ranged weapons can be either agility weapons or strength weapons, so be sure to check which one it is in order to fully utilize your build. Now let's talk about attacks and combos. Every weapon in Conan Exiles has its own rhythm: light attacks, heavy attacks, and specific combo chains that flow differently depending on what you're holding. Light attacks are fast and use less stamina, great for keeping pressure on your opponent or interrupting their attacks. Heavy attacks hit harder, break defenses, and are great for finishing a combo, but they'll burn through your stamina fast if you're not careful. The key is learning your weapon's combo pattern. Some weapon chains better by alternating light and heavy attacks, while others are strongest when you commit to a full combo. Practice each weapon until you can feel its timing. Knowing when to commit, when to dodge, and when to reset a combo can make all the difference in a fight. There are big differences between two-handed and one-handed, heavy and light combos. Here's a one-handed weapon. Watch the combo speed and the quick transition between each swing. Each hit connects fast, and I can roll out the instant the chain finishes. Now the heavy combo, notice how much slower it is. The swings hit harder, but they burn through stamina quick, so you've got to pick your moment. Switching to two-handed. You'll see the difference right away. The reach is longer, and even the light combo has wide arcs that can hit multiple enemies. Here's the heavy combo. Huge damage, but if you miss, you're locked in until that animation finishes. Timing and spacing matter way more with two-handed weapons. Most weapons stop their combo at 4 attacks, but hammers have a 5th, and it's a monster. That last swing delivers massive damage and usually sends anything it connects with flying. It's slow, sure, but if you can time it right, it can wipe out groups or completely stagger a boss. Just remember that 5th hit eats stamina and leaves you vulnerable, so you have to make it count. Alright, so remember, light combos keep you safe and mobile. Heavy combos are all about commitment and power. Knowing when to use each is what separates surviving a fight from being worm food. Dodging is your most reliable way to avoid damage in Conan Exiles. It costs stamina, but a well-timed roll can completely avoid an attack, even from bosses. The type of armor you're wearing determines how much stamina your dodge will use, so try to keep enough stamina for a dodge. Swinging until you're empty can lead to a quick death. Now, blocking depends on the weapon you're using. Shields and certain two-handed weapons can block or deflect incoming attacks, but every block drains stamina and slowly wears down your gear, so use it wisely. Time your blocks carefully, or you'll take the full force of the attack. And then there's the kick. One of the most underrated moves in the game. It's great for interrupting enemies mid-swing or creating space when you're out of stamina. It doesn't deal much damage, but it can save your life when you're cornered or fighting in tight spaces. Another great tool is target lock, and when it's used properly, it can be a real advantage. Whether you're in a one-on-one fight or surrounded by enemies, there's no wrong situation to use it, only bad timing. Knowing when to engage it and when to break away can make or break the fight. Now, let's talk about healing, because no matter how good you are, you're going to take hits. There are two main ways to patch yourself up: wraps and potions. Potions are your go-to during a fight. They give you healing over time, but the catch is if you get hit while the effect is active, it stops immediately. So timing matters. Find an opening, take a step back, and drink when you know you've got a second to breathe. Wraps, on the other hand, are for after combat. They're slower to use, but heal more overall. You'll need to stand still for a few seconds while you bandage, so make sure you're clear before using them. The trick is knowing when to use which. Potions keep you alive in the middle of a fight, wraps get you back to full once it's over. Next up is armor, because it's not just about how much damage you can take anymore. Armor changes how you move, how you fight, and even what you're good at. There are three main weight classes: light, medium, and heavy. Light armor gives you more mobility and better stamina management, while medium armor gives a balance between defense and movement. It's solid if you switch between dodging and blocking, depending on the fight. And heavy armor has the most protection, but it increases your stamina use. It's best for tanky builds or fights where you can't afford to dodge much. But the real difference comes from bonuses. Every armor set adds stat bonuses that affect how your character and your thralls perform. Things like damage boost for strength or agility weapons, add stamina, or even improved concussive damage for knocking out thralls. Some armors even boost follower stats. So when you pick your armor, think beyond defense. Match your armor's bonuses to your playstyle, and you'll notice the difference instantly. The right setup can turn an average fighter into a powerhouse. Next, status effects, which can do a lot of the heavy lifting in a fight, especially once you understand how they stack and interact. They're not just background mechanics, they're the difference between a drawn-out brawl and a decisive victory. The three most common are Bleed, Sunder, and Cripple. Bleed applies damage over time and stacks with each hit. With a max stack of 20, each stack's damage increases non-linearly. Even a few stacks can tear down an enemy's health faster than you think, and it keeps dealing damage while you focus on staying mobile. Sunder weakens armor. Every stack makes your opponent take more damage from all sources. Yours, your thralls, even environmental hazards. It stacks up to 5 times, and each stack removes 10% armor protection with a total of 50% removal. Does not affect armor from agility though. It's not flashy, but it makes every hit that follows count for more. Cripple slows movement by 50%, making it one of the best control effects in the game. It's great for keeping enemies from retreating or closing the distance too quickly. When you inflict Cripple, it buys you space, whether you need time to heal, reposition, or finish a combo safely. It can be applied by hitting an enemy in the leg with certain weapons that don't inherently have the status effect. Then there's Poison, which you could encounter early game. It causes 2 points of damage every second for 10 seconds, and each time Poison is applied, the timer resets and can stack up to 10 times. Its damage also ignores armor. Beyond those, there are plenty of other status effects that you'll come across. Things like Corruption, Disease, Cold Snap, Heat Stroke, and many more. Some come from the environment, others from weapons or rare encounters. You don't need to memorize them all, just know they exist and that they can either help or hinder your survival. The key to mastering combat in Conan Exiles is recognizing when these effects are active. on your enemies, and on yourself. They don't just deal damage or slow movement, they create opportunities. Stack them smart, watch your stamina, and you'll find most fights end long before your opponent hits the ground. Finally, let's talk Thralls. Every Thrall you place in the world can join the fight now, and their gear matters just as much as yours. So make sure their weapons match their strengths. Strength weapons for strength-based Thralls, and agility weapons for agility-based ones. Armor bonuses apply to them too, and even small upgrades can make a huge difference. So think of Thralls as your squad. Gear them well, position them smart, and they can turn the tide in a fight. So to wrap it all up, combat in Conan Exiles isn't about swinging the biggest weapon. Everything you do matters. Stamina management, gear matching, healing, timing, and everything I mentioned in this video all play their part. The more they work together, the better you fight. Remember, it's not power that wins fights, it's control. And that's the rundown on combat in Conan Exiles. If this guide helped you in any way, drop a like, subscribe for more, and show me some love in the comments. Also, let me know what other guides you'd like. I'm Luke with Mediocrity Gaming. Remember, good enough is still good. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.